Good evening, folks. It is Wednesday night, so we're doing a bit of live coding. Playing around with some of our personal projects on Wednesday nights. Last week we played with Clayton's Blazor CMS project, and this week we are looking at my technology speaker site, Speaker Meet. And with us today we've got Jordan Rhodes is joining us. He's going to show us all the ins and outs of testing a React app. And so right now on screen, you should be seeing his copy of the code, and I'll put links to the open source project in chat for everybody that want to follow along. If you want to contribute, love that. Love any help you can give as well.
All right. What do we want to test, John?
Well, actually, is it running on your end? If
Looks
you hit
like
3001, just bring up the site real quick. We'll just take a quick look and show the folks what we're playing around with. Right now, it is hosted in Azure. We are running locally as we develop a test. It is running on the Azure Websites.net domain. So at some point in the next week or two, I'll probably add the custom domain to the site and have it navigable by speakermeet.net. But essentially, it's a website for technology speakers, conferences, and user groups to find and secure speakers or speaking opportunities. It's right now kind of a fun project. It's filled with Latin text that I'll be replacing at some point. We're hosting all of the code repositories in GitHub, using GitHub Actions to publish everything to Azure, using Azure App Services to host the React app and the backend .NET Core Web API project, using Azure Cognitive Search for the search box at the top right of the screen, using Azure SQL for the data store, using blob storage and static websites for serving of images for speakers, communities, and conferences. Just a whole lot of fun stuff to play around with. Still looking for reasons to use bot framework or any other fun technologies out there. So that's a quick little rundown. So basically the front end is create React app website using Material UI. The design was done by someone off of Fiverr that I paid a reasonable amount for the logo and for the layout. Found a couple of libraries that Jordan's showing off. My favorite, the sorting routines on the speakers, communities, and conferences. I spent way too much time just implementing and playing with that. That's someone else's library. You can find that in the packages.json. But yeah, everything's pretty much out of the box with Material Design or with Material UI library and a couple of external libraries to add in some of this. We've got discuss at the bottom of the details pages, and still working on some of the details pages since for talks and whatever else there. So with that, I think there's one test right now in the React side of the house, which is the first test created when you run create React app.
Okay.
So really, we can start wherever you think it would be beneficial. You started giving us kind of a background of your foray into testing and learning more about testing of React apps and React testing library and things like that. You want to just kind of give the spiel there again?
Yeah, sure. So my experience with React testing library started about a year ago. Before that, working on an enterprise suite of applications, mostly tested with Jest and Enzyme, doing the typical shallow render, a lot of asserting that the component exists after we shallow render, and that's how we got our test coverage up. So that went on for about a year and a half, and then, like I said, about a year ago, from the top down, we were told that testing is now super important. We really want to move more towards CI/CD. So we were given time and capacity to look into some options in React Testing Library. far and away is a big fan of Kenzie Dodds, but also just kind of the key tenets, the purpose of React Testing Library is to make tests that test the way a user would use your application, which on its own merits is I think interesting and valid, but also it leads to some interesting results, right? So it's very much accessibility first driven or accessibility driven. The queries that you get back, or the tools you're given when you render a component in a test, all geared around keeping you away from the implementation details. You know, whereas in Jest you might actually call your click handler directly. With React Testing Library, you actually find the button by the text or by its role or by one of many different ways, and then click the button, right? And all the implementation details don't matter. You're testing how your application works, which, I mean, I've been through a couple of refactors, and the tests held their own, which I think that's really where the proof is, right? When you actually need to change something and the tests still work as they should or fail as they should. I know that I talked about this differently before. Is there anything I missed?
No, I think we'll probably uncover stuff as we dive in. And Sean asked in chat how to add conferences in just 2 weeks. So I said that if anybody out there wants to get a conference or a user group or their own speaker's account, just feel free to raise an issue in GitHub, and I'll do my best to get it added as quickly as possible.
All right, so I'm looking at app test. So did this come this way? That's pretty cool. Is this
It did.
React Testing Library out of the box?
I changed the text that it was looking for, but yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so even the this is now like officially endorsed by the React team if you think about it.
This week.
At least the Create React app team. Yeah, this week. So this is pretty simple, right? We are rendering our app component, and this is another. I mean, I don't think this specifically calls this out, but I want to call this out. What we found with React Testing Library is we're not testing like so much components individually. It makes more sense, at least in our case, it made more sense to bring up an entire page, right? So we'll bring up the landing page and go through and test all the things we want to test. Part of that for us was just because there's a lot of setup involved. We're using Redux, and like when you do all this setup just to get one single component up, it kind of didn't make sense. But also when you're testing as a user would, a user's not just looking at your button, they're just looking at a whole page, right? So just because this is the app component, so it makes sense that they're testing it this way. But when you render your component with React Testing Library, you get back an object which is bound to that component as a container, right? So if you were testing a smaller piece of the app, it's basically everything that these queries are going to search for are within this component. That might have gone without saying, but so get by text is cool. You can pass text as is, or we can even, I'm going to run this test. Ooh, I am read only. So I just requested read write. I don't know if anyone is getting. I wasn't reading. Okay.
Here,
I should be able to.
Clicked OK on whatever popped up. So
There you go.
Okay. All right. So let's.
So is this no longer Jest, or is React Testing Library on top of using Jest?
It's using Jest.
Okay.
And in fact, there's even I think you have it installed, the Jest extend or the Jest DOM. Let's look at the yeah, so we got Jest DOM, and we got the React Testing Library, which is it's the React wrapper over testing library, or DOM testing library. I've actually got a few different libraries for like Reason and Vue and I think even Angular. Don't quote me on that. And then user event we'll get into. But, I always hate when it's in watch mode. So All right.
You don't like Watch?
No, yeah, I don't know. I got a lot of things running usually, so I just and actually in WebStorm I could just click the little green arrows, so I take Watch off. But I guess this passed.
Okay. There it is.
This did not pass. All right.
Well, one
implemented
passed.
Windows scroll to. Oh. Virtual console. Yeah, so one passed, but we also got an error. Interesting.
Which doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. Browser not implemented. We'll come back to that. I want to see this fail.
It's
So
like
let's-
a.
So
Oh, because you're not running. Doesn't it set up a fake DOM?
yeah.
Because window.scroll to should be on the DOM, well, on the window, but
So that would mean that app probably has window.scroll to somewhere.
and it's not passing in a testing version of window for this particular test.
Maybe not. It might not have implemented it. Yeah, because I mean it's saying not implemented, so Windows scroll to must not be part of just DOM.
Yeah, I think it's probably in the header.
That's what
when
I
you
hate
scroll,
about-
the header hides.
That's what I hate about all this UI testing. Like
So
none of
main-
the
it prob-
solutions I've used are actually complete. They all have these holes in them.
Yeah, there we go. Scroll to top. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. We've had to polyfill a few things, or when you do setup tests. So we could quickly. So it looks like you have a scroll to top, John, and I'm sure in there there's something about Windows scroll to. So what we could do in setup tests.
And then later we can create a PR to the JS test DOM.
Let's just see if that gets rid of the error.
That's a really long time for one test.
Yeah. I wonder. It passed. I wonder if it's just because we're all communicating through the server. Does that sound right?
I
I don't know. It
mean-
shouldn't take this long.
no.
19 seconds.
Yeah. And at
So-
least 12 of that was in the test file that only has one test, and the one test took less than 300 milliseconds to run, although it should have taken less than a millisecond to run.
Yeah. Well, that was fast.
And now, what'd you do?
So I got rid of.
Oh, changed the casing.
Yep, I changed the casing and got rid of the I to exclude casing. So what I wanted to show is what John's using here, or what we're using here, is regex. You can do a string, or there's a text match algorithm that they're using that they have in the docs. I actually like to use the pattern rather than this, because if you have things, sometimes it's hard. Like if you have an icon next to your text or a non-breaking space, something like that, it'll
I mean, I guess that's initializing the entire application, though, right?
yeah, I mean, we're rendering app. Still
So
should-
it's-
I mean, the other one didn't take that long.
And
5 seconds.
we haven't done anything in the setup so that it knows that it's not like hitting the actual database and all that kind of junk. So it's presumably it's running the application, getting the render
Yeah.
results, and then checking the test, right?
Yeah, I mean that's true. We should be seeing console errors because it should be erroring out trying to hit the network, right? Unless.
Well, he's running the network calls are going to be hitting a server that he's also running on his computer. So there's
Yeah.
no reason for them to fail unless the JS test DOM is polyfilled fetch or whatever, so that it doesn't work. But it doesn't look like it has. Well, and you're
Actually,
probably not even using fetch. You're probably using Axios or something, right?
No, I'm using Fetch, and it is actually hitting Azure right now. It's not hitting my backend.
All right.
Oh.
We're definitely going to want to mock that. All right, so we're back to passing. I'm actually going to put this back to pattern match. And John, and we're expecting this link element to be in the document. And I actually, this is a good one. Like, just doing the get by text is technically an assertion, and you will get a failure. Not repeat ourselves. Testing, we go almost the other direction. We're very explicit. Let's just grab this. We've got our ARIA current class, href. I'm trying to think how we would. Let's just ask. Cheat sheet. No, I don't think that's where it is. So we got alt text, label text, role. That's the one. Now where is it? Yeah.
What are you looking for?
I'm trying to look for the different roles, because get by role is meant to be like the one you start with, and if you can't use it, you move on down. And since we're working with, I mean, we're in here, we can make a change to link, add a role to it. I think links have a role though. That's what I was looking for, but we can just do. Let's see this pass. Now, if you have home more than once, that's going to be a problem. Home is like it's probably a good one. Okay. And that's one of the reasons I try to stay away from get by text, like as my go-to, because a word like home could be in your document 50 times, right? So the fact that it's in the document doesn't help me in that case. I'm sure
Yeah,
we'll run
is
into
there no
one.
way to path to it? Like you expect it to be for the text to be home, but for it to be inside of something specific?
Yeah, there's several ways to do that. What I would do here is try to do like the get by role, and then you can pass that some options, which I believe would be like either the href or the name, and say, okay, I want to get this. If link was a role, let's just pretend that was it, or a button, right? I want to get this button with the name home, and then I can check the href on it, make sure that the link is correct, stuff like that. You definitely could path to it, but what we want to do is try to avoid that, because you can use XPath, right? You can do document.query selector in here. That'll work just fine. But the goal
And
is
then
to
all
use
your
the
all your
helpers.
tests fail on the first refactoring or redesign.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's just not. And truthfully, what it is more. It's just not in the spirit of the library. So home's obviously going to show up twice. Let's see. We got speakers. We'll run into one that needs. And what I'll typically do is, I mean, I've got the page up. My tests are going to be as big as I need them to be, right? When we get, like right now, this test to me is, let's assert some things on the page, and if there was specific functionality that I wanted to test, like a form or what happens when I click this thing, I might break that off into a different test, obviously. But what we end up with, my experience, is like bigger tests, because as I was saying before, since we're bringing up the page, to me, it's not really even like a unit test. It's more like almost like a contract test or something, so contract-ish. Testing all these components working together rather than just a button. And then I'm going with, I don't care about the casing, but obviously that's completely up to you how much you do care. Maybe for links, they should be. We should care. It's about community.
Well, but the casing could also be enforced with CSS.
And I think community. Yeah,
Exactly.
Communities is plural. IES.
Oh, and we probably, so okay, let's see that fail.
Which that brings up a question. Can this test CSS that's applied?
No, it doesn't pull in the CSS, I don't believe. It might, but we can't, I haven't found a way to test styles. There is, well, even with snapshots, you're still just getting DOM snapshots. Yeah, we haven't really found a good story for testing. Does the thing that, what is that? Those before and afters, like all that stuff. Haven't really found a good solution for that other than the good old eyeball. So we got communities.
Yeah, snapshots were all the rage like 8 months ago, and now they're not, I guess.
Yeah, I really think this won out, to be honest with you. Snapshots were definitely better than the way we were using Jest. I want to be careful. I don't think Jest was the problem. I think Jest gave you too many ways to cause yourself problems. Like I was saying, the shallow render makes it real easy to render a component that might have children that you don't want to spend all the time setting up. So we did that more often, and it's our fault, not Jest's fault. And then conferences. So it should be green, and then conferences should be the last one. Nope. Did I spell something wrong? Speakers is now a problem. Found multiple elements with text speakers. Okay, so this is what I was talking about.
There's the menu bar at the top, but there's also in the footer area another list of navigation links.
Okay. So let's fix that. We need to not get by text. Let me just get by role. Where is it? By Rapperson. There's the list.
I mean, so presumably, these things are componentized. So the remnants of the component are still left in the DOM for the React render, right? So if you knew that these things existed inside of the menu component, then couldn't you say something like get by type menu, and then inside the menu component get by text?
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So what we can do in here, I actually think we should go that route. Header should be, or yeah, menu. So we could give the header or the component that is the menu, which is going to be, this is your toolbar, right? So we should be able to say, let's check if toolbar is already menu. And then you can do it within. You're absolutely right. Thanks for saying that.
I'm glad I was onto something, because I'm just spitballing. I have no information about this library.
No, man, you're. See what happens there. This one also, we don't know if it works.
Now, are the get by role, is that the ARIA role, or is that some other kind of role?
It's not just ARIA role. Some of them are by default. So an LI is a list item. Its role is a list item by default. A button is a button.
Yeah.
This is actually the. Can you see my screen, or just the browser, or just the editor?
Just the editor.
Just the editor.
Okay. So I was what I was looking for is the Mozilla list of roles when I
Okay.
was over there, and I found so a composite role is menu or menu bar. So we can actually add that to the header. Hopefully toolbar takes the role. Say menu. Let's start with menu, see if that works. But it does also play into ARIA rules, and basically the documentation explains like the different things it tries when you do a get by text, get by label, get by role. So, all right. So we still did not get speakers. Good. So we got the menu. That worked.
Yeah, and I do have in the root of my GitHub account, not of Speaker Meet UI, but at Ovation 22, I've got a project set up there that I have identified things that I know need to happen, like better semantic HTML and CSS and stuff, because I am actually using H1 and H2 elements for design purposes and shrinking and stuff, and which is bad. So I want to get somebody that's more knowledgeable about good HTML, CSS design and go through and fix some of that stuff.
Oh, awesome. Which repository is this? Or you said the root of the project? I lost you.
It's the root of my account. Sorry.
Okay.
So like if you go to ovation22/speakermeet.ui, that's the repository for the UI, but
Yep.
up one level is where the project is because it spans multiple repositories.
Okay.
So if anybody knows how to get that to show up under the project of both of them, then that would be great. I'm also learning more about GitHub as we go.
And what did you call that?
The project or the
You were just talking about the what you
Oh, the-
wanted to.
the task in there that I identified was
Separate the semantics from the style.
yes, with a link to
Gotcha.
some stuff. Yeah, and I actually think I put an issue in the UI project as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm looking at the issue.
Okay.
Understood.
Step 1, don't use a UI framework because they all violate semantic HTML.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
It-
Semantic
it's-
UI actually doesn't.
It's
I don't know
that
if you use that
it's that I'm using some of the components
instead.
in interesting ways. It's not, these components are actually the cleanest I've found in a while. I'm sure there are others, and I'm sure there are better ones, but Material UI is just little components that you can put together to make material design type things.
Yep.
And it's useful for people that aren't good at design.
Ends up right here. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm importing within Clayton from React Testing Library. And so on line 12, I got the menu by role. And now what I can do is within menu, like you said, like within that context of that component, I can do by text. I don't know if I could do multiple in one line, like, so I think I have to do within a few times, but
Yeah.
but at least you're right. This gives us the ability to say within our menu we have these things.
It should give you block scope, and then you could do within menu expect get by text home, get by text speakers.
Yeah, Cypress actually does that. I don't know if you guys have used Cypress, but in Cypress they have a very similar thing. You can grab an element and then from within you can do the rest of your test in there because it gives you a .then. Maybe this one does, I just didn't know it, but this is how we would do this one.
We could make an extension real quick.
Let's do it, man. I like I like open source. I've got a PR that was like 2 years old. I'm still waiting to be approved for Waypoint, I believe. So, anyways, and then And then I actually need to wrap this in expect. Else to be in the document. It's not going to make any sense. Let's see if this is green still. Or again. Speakers was failing before we did this, so let's see if we still. Nope.
Now it's mad about hooray.
Right.
Oh, never mind. That's just the name of the test. Oh, it's not finding get by text. Or it couldn't find it
Within
anyway.
menu. Let's see. Unable to find an element with the text home. This could be because text is broken up by multiple elements. So where's our menus? There we go. And then we had home before. So here's our div. Let's look at the header. There's our toolbar. We got a link. Everything's in there. All of our typography.
Oh. Well, what's it look like when it renders? Div. A tag. href / image. There's no. If you look at the HTML that it found, it doesn't say home anywhere. Or, well, never mind. That's logo speaker. Then there's a form.
Yeah, I'm seeing a form too. That's below.
And then an SVG.
It looks like it doesn't have any of the.
Yeah, is this the John? Is this the wrong thing that
no, in let me see.
Because I can see a home link, but it could also it's the speaker meet link instead of home.
Sections.map. Sections is actually the listing of links. So that is the link there. The link inherited section title. Yeah.
And then you've got a. Wonder why.
Is it
Home is
inlining the
there.
SVG?
No.
Looks like it.
Yep.
Oh,
Right
there is a but there's also a reference to the speaker meet SVG as an image. 2 references: logo main and logo speaker.
True. There's our form. Yeah, I'm not seeing any of the links after the home link. Interesting.
What are we actually testing? We're testing the header. So the sections are actually passed in to that component. They don't necessarily have to be. They just happen to be.
But in the rendered out DOM, they should still be children of that component because that component's going to render them at some point, right? So if he's grabbed the containing component, they should show up, but they're not. We're seeing the opening div for the toolbar, and then we see the closing div for the toolbar, but there's just SVG links inside of it.
Yes. So why would that be? None of that's async. I thought we might get to one of those, and then also, John, we're rendering app.js, which renders main, and main does pass sections to the header.
Right.
I was wondering if we forgot to pass props. So now this hidden small down, what does SM down mean? Is that the size of the screen?
It's a media break. So yeah, if it is that, then it would. So essentially, there's the full logo at some resolution, and at small resolution, it's only half the logo.
Is it a
and at very small resolution, it hides the menu. So maybe it's hiding the menu because of the media break.
Depends on whether it's doing a page query or if React is actually removing things from the DOM.
Yeah.
Or media query, rather.
I think it's doing a media query, so it shouldn't.
Stan. So there's a toolbar. Link typography is a span. And that's your nav section. And then a form. So it's not showing those hidden things. I wonder if that just doesn't render anything instead of saying hidden. Interesting.
Let me check the docs on Material UI hidden.
Okay. I'm gonna see if I can set the width.
But why would it have shown up before and not now?
Well, so
It found it, but it might not have found the right one.
exactly. That's what I'm
okay.
thinking. Because on the bottom of the screen, there's home, speakers, communities, conferences too. That was
So
probably
we-
rendered.
So we had a false positive then.
Exactly. Yep.
Good times.
It says will be hidden. It doesn't specify.
I'm gonna guess it removes it from the DOM.
Yeah.
It certainly looks like it does. But then...
Yeah.
You know, I'll bet that they're calling some function on the window to get the window size. And in React testing library or whatever, that is just nulled out to be, you know, 0 or something. And
Here
so they get
is-
back nothing, and they go, oh, well, we got a super small screen.
Here's a GitHub issue for unable to test React with Material UI hidden element on the Enzyme project.
Okay. That's probably. I mean, Enzyme is still. It's not. We're not asserting with Enzyme, but it's probably related. Is this in the Zoom chat?
It's in both Zoom and
In
Oh,
the,
for
how do you check window size? I'm sure it's window dot something, right? If we set in our test setup, if we set window dot whatever the value that they must be looking at is, and we set it to some larger value, then we should see a change, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Trying to see if we can find out how we would do that.
There's like window dot screen width or something like that. It's been a while.
Change the media query polyfill with the JS DOM and the documentation.
Testing. You need to. Here's a link from Material UI.
Yep.
Window dot screen
Need it.
dot width, window dot screen dot height is a thing.
So it looks like we need CSS media query. John, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes, the characters, blah, blah, blah. You should polyfill it. Use simulated. Okay. Cool with you if I install that?
Yep.
Can I kill this? W. Uh-oh. I'm in looking at the Zoom screen share. Trying to.
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
There, I killed the watch for you. I'll let you do the rest.
Thank you. Q. There we go.
Oh, that's nice. It's WQ. You didn't have to hit colon though. You should have to hit colon.
Nope.
Or
Yeah.
maybe like exclamation
That's
mark.
Exclamation. Oh, you made me, I lost what I'm doing. CSS media query.
Hey Clayton, I'm actually listening to the Coder Radio, free code camp. How do I turn it down below its breakpoints without disappearing?
You hit F12.
Yeah, I'm in F12, but I don't know what I'm looking for.
I can't open it because then it'll stream
Right.
out. uh, or right click on the control that's
wait.
right click inspect element, and then I believe that there's a function that's being called, so you can call that function with a lower value
Okay.
or a in between value. You can also in VLC player just open up the URL that they are streaming the media from, and then you can have the volume set to whatever you want. You don't like our background music?
I can't hear it without hearing the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, I guess, yeah. I'm not a big fan of our background music.
You picked it.
Technically, I went to YouTube's free audio library, selected rock, and then everything that didn't require attribution. Downloaded, I don't know, a couple hundred songs, and then made a VLC playlist. Ta-da!
Method match media takes a media query strands parameter, so I'm just matching it to one on test. I'm gonna try this first. This would be in setup tests. And what's a good breakpoint? Big one. Start with the big one.
1200.
1200, yep. You can tell I don't do styling ever. See what happens when we run our tests.
It's thinking about it. Oh, fail. At the same point.
I'm not in there.
Yeah, same deal. This is another one of those things that they should have thought about. Like, you should be able to just,
What was the error message?
it's just saying that it
Can't find
couldn't
it.
get the element. No,
Unable
can't
to
has find.
on it. Yep. So to find them. Huh. System line.
Has anybody cracked open the code for the hidden component to see exactly what it's looking at?
Do that. MUI org, that's the right one. Packages. Icon style system. All right, hidden JS, hidden.js. All right, so we're passing SM down, I think. It's just a prop. And it is calling hidden.js, of course. Go. All right. Starts out with is visible true. Only check if that's only only comes from props.
Is it MUI org material UI? Is that the?
Yep.
Okay, and then if you can walk me through how to
It's a
get
mono
to.
repo. So packages,
Okay, packages.
and then material UI. So it's down towards the bottom.
The bottom. Okay.
And then under
s-
source, it'll be hidden, and then the hidden JS file takes you to hidden JS. So just go to hidden JS.
Fantastic.
And the only looks like whatever we pass through gets passed to it as only.
Did you do anything with CSS media query?
He added a thing.
Well, yeah, you added the package, but
Yeah, so I didn't because I kept reading that, and that's for if you're using the use query component, like at the top of that file. That's what I understood, and then I could still try it, but
Yeah, and they're doing like enzyme tests or whatever.
let me try something real quick.
okay.
Leave me alone.
Why can I not find anything? Ah, so with width. Goodness. Which is going to be.
Right? Set. Will that work?
What did you do?
Pulled in CSS media query. No, okay. Just checking.
Oh, you put it in the test file. Okay.
Yeah.
Great match media. So this, why don't we pass in?
1200 there.
Yeah. Ooh! I
Oh.
shouldn't have doubted you, John. I should not have doubted you.
Ta-da!
Man, so
Hey, I've learned through lots and lots of pain just to bend to the will of the frameworks. And Material UI said it's recommended. I'm like, fair enough.
yeah, no, you're right. I should have just done it. I looked at the top of the file and it was talking about use width, which is probably being used by the component anyways. So good call.
Yeah, hidden JS uses use width, which uses use media query,
Gotcha.
which does some stuff that I was in the middle of doing that when you guys did this.
There.
Awesome. So yeah, like as far as just for people watching, you can put this in your setup tests. I actually like it that you put it here, John, because we can control it, right? We can later on down the line, we might want to test it without, make sure they're gone, stuff like that.
Yeah, I am renew to this to React testing. So
New again.
yeah, new again. So I have no preferences. So if you make an argument for something, I'm all in favor of it.
Right. So we should.
What
be
if I make an
green.
argue against UI testing?
Communities should fail.
You're against everything, so
That's not true. I love unit testing.
that's true. Which is weird.
It prevents my code from breaking, so I like it. But CSS, I don't know that there's anything that can prevent your UI from breaking.
It's hard.
All it takes is for somebody to release a new phone or an update to a browser, and then nothing looks like it's supposed to.
Am I still running?
Oh, community should fail. So we got home, speakers, communities, and
Boom.
conferences. Cool. We have working tests that we believe to be working. All right, cool. We got an input in here. It's got a name, no label. So we could do, what does it get by? I think the role is input. Where are they?
Look at John changing things.
List. Interesting. Input is not a role.
Now I can pull that hidden hooray out of there. Yay.
Slider. This is fun. So our input has no text, no label, no
Oh, the search?
place. no placeholder. Yeah. It's probably not one we want to test anyways, because we'd have to mock everything. But I just wanted to check for its existence,
there.
you know? I'm trying to think of a clever way. I mean, this is where you might do a get by data test ID, right? And just put a tag on there and by title, get by text, display value, text role. Awesome.
Get
Or
by
we can add
placeholder
it.
empty.
You know, that might actually be the right one. Let's try it.
It's probably the only thing that would have a placeholder available, right?
Yeah, the end input. Yeah. So I think you're.
It's gonna look funny though.
Is there an ARIA role that we could do?
I was getting ready to look for that, and
Yeah, there's a role of search for a form.
Okay.
Input type of search. It's interesting.
Yeah, that's what I probably really would have searched for, would be the search type. But I don't. Is there get by type?
No, not the role, label text, placeholder text, text, display value, alt text, title, and then test ID. But I think you're right. I think
I got red squiggles. No semicolon.
I'm gonna put some ARIA stuff on here
And then, yeah, single quotes.
while you're doing that.
I gave up on the whole single quote thing. I just double quote now.
yeah, man. I just put prettier in as a pre-commit hook now, and just don't even worry about it. It's amazing.
I have
All right,
issues
get by
with
placeholder text.
in VS Code. Prettier seems to clash with some of the other stuff that ends up getting loaded, and so it everything gets screwed up.
So don't do it that way. Set it up as a pre-commit hook. So you're not running prettier in the editor. Whenever you make a commit, it takes anything that you have staged and it runs it and then commits it. So, and then like if you want to, you can manually, like, basically what I do is I just chuck a bunch of code at my editor. It doesn't format anything, and then when I commit, it'll fix everything up. But that way it doesn't clash with any of my plugins.
I have never done a pre-commit hook.
That's the only one I've done. So John's in there adding ARIA stuff to our input.
Yeah, I added a ARIA role of search to the form,
Okay.
and the name is terms. The type for the input is terms. The type for the input is search.
Okay. So
Is spell check a thing?
I'm just looking at the Mozilla docs right now.
I've never seen spell check.
ARIA label site-wide. Sure, why not?
they have a text box role, but not a text role or an input role. Weird.
I can put an ID on it. There's only ever going to be one.
Yeah, but you can't, we don't have ID either. I mean, data test ID we can do. They have a get by test ID. That's really get by role. Why do we not have just an input?
Ooh, broke it.
Yeah.
Oh, get by placeholder text is broken.
Yeah, it didn't find it. Probably because are you even using the placeholder attribute?
No.
So if you put in the placeholder attribute and had it be empty, then it'd probably find it.
Oh, let's try that.
Okay, it's in there.
End
running.
adornment.
Running.
Huh?
Nope, didn't work.
Oh, we're green. I'm green.
Yeah, it totally worked.
Yeah.
What's all the big red? Scroll up.
Invalid DOM property
all.
spell check. That's the red.
Okay.
So with
So
React,
spell
they
check
just
is
want
not a thing.
No. They want spell check to be camel case.
Wait, where'd it
Oh.
go?
I
Okay.
hate the did you mean stuff. Like, yes, that's what I meant. Can you just fix it for me?
Right. So this one's a little iffy, but it'll work. Get that placeholder. I mean, yeah. What next? I would, man. I kind of wanted to show you some of that user event stuff.
Let's do it.
Is
We
there
can
any
just.
validation? Is
Yeah,
there any
I'm
validation on the?
on the search? No.
No, definitely not.
It's a fuzzy search, so.
Yeah.
We can just make up some validation.
HTML5. Oh, when we're
Has to
okay.
be more than one character.
So when there's more than one character, we get a little X, but is that just before
That's a
pseudo
browser
element?
thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a browser thing. Two
Okay.
to three characters is kind of like default minimum for most behaviors to kick off. I don't even know if you can detect the X in the DOM
Yeah.
in any way,
I don't see it at all. Yeah, once.
which I hate that. I wish that they would add those things to the DOM as like an after element or something.
Yeah, I definitely want it to be more than empty string, because I just found out if I submit the form without anything in it, it blows up.
Oh, okay. So let's put required on there.
Yeah.
I think required is an HTML5. Like you can just throw required, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's using the material UI input, which has required on it, which will do the correct thing regardless.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I like it. And I get the nice little pop-up tippy thing. Please fill out this field.
Yep. So that's if you try to, nice. Now, I think that also is just browser behavior.
I don't think so. I think it looks like a tooltip thing, like a material
Yeah.
UI.
That's Chrome. That's
Oh, is it?
HTML5. Yep.
I'm in Firefox.
What does yours look like?
Let me see yours.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't look like that, so it must be
Yep.
a browser thing.
Yeah.
1605.
If you were on IE, it would probably Material
work.
UI would probably add its own stuff.
Oh, maybe.
I don't have IE,
Interesting.
but I have Edge. So
You have IE. You got Windows 10, right?
I can fire up my VM.
No, if you got Windows 10, you've got IE. You just have to run it manually.
yeah, the Edgeium looks exactly like Jordan's screen. Because of course it does.
It is. Because it's Chrome, buddy. They sold out.
Now they realize that all the hard work was done by somebody else.
Man. So, what can we do? I mean, on the home page, all we can really do is assert that things are there, and obviously play around with the input. But I don't know what to assert on the input. I wanted to show you like how you can, when you go from one. Do you have any other?
Can you
inputs or
can you
forms?
assert that if it's empty that you can't submit?
Yes, because we can do a just resolve on the function and check that it was called. We could do that, or check that it was not called.
And you could even do that for, if so it's required, so it has to have something in it, but we also don't really want to submit it if somebody just hits A, right? Probably.
Okay.
Yep.
So maybe require a minimum number of characters or minimum length, and then check that. And we could make the test fail first, and then go fix it and make it pass by adding in whatever we're going to add in for min length.
All right, let's do it. So I believe it's top level import user event. Okay, and then in the header, we've got a form that, oh wait, handle submit. Okay. And we're gonna push. Okay, so our handle submit does a history push. There's the search path with the term. So what we can do is, we don't even have to mock anything. We can just make sure we're not being pushed to a new route.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
So now we can say, search box. Why do I have all this red?
Because
What
I
red?
do have prettier.
Oh, it doesn't like that. Are we green? Okay, we're green. Sorry.
Just do Alt Shift F.
Alt. So, Control Shift F?
There.
No, Alt Shift F is format, which should clean up
it's
any of the issues.
Control period will bring up hints and stuff.
Oh yeah, I guess if you want to do it that way. Yeah.
Control. So, okay. Maybe for me it's Option Shift F. I don't have Alt. That's what.
Oh, yeah, it would be
Control
option.
period.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
The one that has that symbol for alternate path on it.
Is assigned but never used. What is going on here? Whatever.
Get placeholder text.
Yeah.
Oh, huh.
I got a red squiggly.
is declared, but its value is never used.
Yeah. Oh well. It is used. Thank you. Okay, so now we got the search box. User event. How do we do this? I have to cheat and look at my code.
That's not cheating. That's storing your brain somewhere efficient.
Thank you. Made me feel better about it.
Oops. You were there. Sorry.
Yeah, and for you, John, it's Control KD if you're using Visual Studio still.
Alt F4.
That works too.
What is duplicate line? That one's killing me.
Where you?
Duplicate
Control
line?
D in WebStorm. Or
It's
Resharper.
Control. So don't highlight any text. Just click on a line
Right.
and then Control C, Control V.
What?
Okay, fair enough.
If you don't have any text highlighted, it will copy and paste the whole line.
Okay, that's fair. I'll use it. It's not Control D, but
You could probably put it in.
yeah, but I've learned to bend to the will of the IDE and the editors as well.
Yeah, but the big thing about there's duplicate selection, which doesn't have as an assignment by default, and I'm willing to bet that if you don't have so
Can I just install ReSharper in VS Code?
you could look for it. I doubt it though. Oh, I need key bindings.
Sharper 9 key bindings. Install. Control D, copy lines down. Yep.
Is it? It's in there.
Hmm.
Yeah. So you, I don't know how to find the key bindings in this thing very easily.
Or
Oh, keyboard shortcuts. There it is. So then it would just be
Command P, right?
Yeah.
Or that's
Well, it's
search.
a palette.
no. So Command P brings up the palette, which will search for like files and junk. You have to put the greater
Command
than
Shift
symbol
P
in front of
gives
it.
you the-
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. Duplicate selection, key binding, Control D, one existing command, add selection to the next find match. Or just can I just delete that? Add selection to next find match. I don't even know what that means. Control Alt D, sure. No. Okay, whatever. Backspace does it. Okay.
Where's type? Come on.
There. See? It's not that hard. So now if I come in here and go Control D. Boom.
Okay, so we're gonna type on search box. We're gonna type enter. And how can we tell? Oh, just want to check window. I guess we might have to. Man, this is a good one. You're testing my skills, John. We want to make sure we didn't go anywhere. Well, I know I can do
React router.
right.
React testing. Test. Not push. I don't know.
Couldn't you look at the history as an array, since this is going to be a polyfilled window and not the real thing?
Say that again.
So window.history would have to be an array in this case because it's being pushed onto, and since it's a polyfill and not the real window, you should be able to treat it as an array and just assert that it has only a length of 0 or a length of 1, and you can also check to see what the last thing that was pushed on was.
Ah, okay. So let's try.
I think.
Here's somebody mocking React Router DOM and just checking the function that they mocked.
That could also be if you're just doing history and you're not actually, if it's not actually making its way to window.history.
All
I
right.
don't recall what I did. Let's see. Form does history.push. Prevent default and history.push. And history, I think, is out of React Router DOM. Use history.
Yeah, it's a
Use history.
separate. Yep. Boundary property. What?
Track metric of null.
Something failed and it tried to push it to App Insights. I don't know why, because it thought I had that off.
Oh, that means that it tried to host, right? Or no?
No, not necessarily. Just that it errored and crashed all to hell. Where's my-
One, if it failed on to have length.
Oh yeah, it does. Hold on. Let me stop the app for a second,
Okay.
and I'll remove the application insights telemetry stuff for a second. All right, should be up in any second now.
It's weird that these tests are causing. I guess if the code works, it's doing what it thinks it's supposed to be doing. So.
Well, if you had removed the expectation, I think the test would have passed. I don't think it's failing because if you look at where the little failure arrow is, it's pointing at to have length 0. So while there is an error, the test still seems to have failed for the right reason. Yeah. Expected length 0, received length 1, and then we get the error because it was trying to do something that we didn't want it to do anyway.
Gotcha. I see it now. Yeah. So it's not showing me the whole terminal. I don't like that. It's because we're sharing one, right?
It could be.
So
It's whatever. Well, but you can scroll. I don't know.
Yeah, it should be your. Yeah.
I can
that
scroll,
should-
but I have it like halfway up my screen, and I'm only seeing the original size.
Yeah,
So I
same
think
here.
it's because we're on this.
There, I just moved. I extended mine. Did that do anything? It looked like.
Yeah,
it
it
did
blanked everything out.
something. Interesting.
It's still only showing so far up.
Yeah.
It's probably just the buffer that LiveShare is willing to use.
Okay, so our test is still failing. I removed the expect because I
Right. So, okay, but now it's not failing because the expectation was wrong. It's actually failing now when it hits that error. So, I guess it's still going to end up failing because it's pooping, but
so what that tells me is it's letting the enter happen.
yes.
Like,
Yeah, it
my
is navigating,
computer-
which is what we don't want anyway. So,
Yeah, but John's got the validation in there. I wonder if just DOM doesn't have HTML5 validation.
oh yeah.
Does
Well,
not
that's-
currently handle HTML5 forms validation.
That's terrible.
First comment from a member is, I agree this will be nice and important. However, it's going to be quite an undertaking. That's true. Very true.
I don't know, like, to add required? Like,
Well, I think they're talking about the whole deal.
oh, yeah, the whole kit and caboodle, but, you know, like, some of it theoretically should be fairly simple.
The function, we could change the function to not allow it to push.
Well, and I mean, that's, you know, if you look at standard programming mantras, don't trust the client, right?
Yeah.
So don't
Yeah.
trust that your client is going to have HTML5 validation. Therefore, your code needs to deal with that.
Agreed.
Where the hell is it?
It's at line 90, the header.
So like if e dot target dot terms dot value greater than 1, then do that. Now what?
Test should pass. Or it should not spit up an error.
Still get it. Oh, well, no, you're preventing default to start with. Can we verify this e.target.terms.value? Like do a console log or something?
That's interesting.
Did you see it log?
No. Add in front of that code that you just wrote. Add some text so that we can see. Because like if value is empty, which was what we expect, then we wouldn't see anything at all. So add. Yeah, here lies value or something. You can just add a comma. You don't have to do the plus. Wasteful.
Wasteful. Lynn's even yelling at you. Doesn't want the plus sign.
Okay, now try it and should see something. I assume this testing library will output logs.
It should.
Did it run or?
It did.
It looks, yeah. Corner level notes.
Still don't see anything.
No.
Nope.
Oh well, you've got it inside. Take it out. Which I mean, you know, if it's not inside and it's not running, then, or if it's inside and it wasn't running, then,
Right.
you know, technically, but. Still don't see it.
Console error. Yeah. I don't
It's not. Yeah, it's not outputting it.
Okay.
Jasmine
I'm going
outputs it.
I'm gonna take off the watcher. And let's do test watch all. False. I think it needs to be.
Hey, Sean's back. Yeah, we had some technical difficulties as well, so the stream started and stopped and started a couple of times. Yeah, we get the both the Tulsa meetup group, .NET group, and CodePalooza added. If you've got a logo for the Tulsa group, if you wanted to send that my way or anything, I'll shoot you a silent D whisper thing. We'll get everything updated.
Man, that's weird. I don't see it anywhere in the console.
No.
John, have you ever like configured your VS Code to debug?
Yes.
Is it easy?
Like through in running the application.
It's black magic.
So like, you know, like with WebStorm, we can just literally put a breakpoint
Yeah.
right here or somewhere. I can't do it. I don't. Sure, we can't do it while we're.
It's
Oh no! Right.
Running debug in Chrome.
yeah. Live share
But, I mean, have
should
you-
pick up the debug points, but I don't know if this will work the way that you're hoping it'll work.
Yeah. So in WebStorm, you can debug your tests. That's what I'm asking.
Oh, I've not tried to do that. No.
That stuff used to all be black magic with VS Code, and so I never bothered to learn how to do any of it. Hence the suggestion for the console log, because that's easy.
Yeah.
I'm sure they've made it easier now, but I don't know how to do it.
Let's see. VS Code debug.
All right. So they have run and debug as a thing. Customize run and debug. Cool. Go screenshot. Create a link. Create a launch JSON file. And we want to do just.
Debugger attached. I
Yep,
saw something
I'm debugging.
happening.
I'm debugging using Node, running npm test, so it should, in theory, break right there. It did not.
Yeah, like I said, black magic. This stuff all gets compiled to something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it would not be very effective to try to find the console log and debug in Chrome.
You should get source maps. So it should
Okay.
look just like. Yeah.
Try that then. I mean, actually, I should be able to say conferences and hit enter. There's your debug.
Did it? So it. That's true. Why are we? That's funny.
Something happened.
Yeah, I was hitting pause a bunch and stuff.
Oh, why you break everything? That's not the right thing.
Let's see what happens.
Oh, okay, well, I do. Did you actually type in debugger?
I did.
Awesome.
Okay, so yeah, it's reading the correct value and it's outputting the correct amount. Or You need length. Dot length.
Is that it?
Value is literally the value
Right,
that's in the search
right.
box.
Yes.
You
Sorry.
right?
Yep. Sorry. Yep.
Now get that debugger statement out of there.
It is. It's gone.
That's awesome.
Tell you, man,
Yeah,
after a
it's-
long day and then, yeah,
Oh, that's great.
just have you
Now
know.
that probably won't fix
both
our
of you
problem,
watched,
but
both of you watched me do it. I'm just saying.
That's what, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at all of us.
Hey.
Believe me.
there's a reason why I said to throw in the console log. I always check my assumptions. Because I know that I'm probably wrong. That's why I like testing.
Still fails.
Right, we expect it to fail. Because it's navigating. I just don't know why it's navigating. It shouldn't be navigating.
Yeah.
So where do you get terms from, John?
Where do I get terms from?
I have event. I'm looking at event.target.terms.value.
Terms is the name of the input.
Target's the
Of that
form, not
form.
the input.
Gotcha. Yep. Gotcha. Yeah, I was thinking event.target.value. That makes sense. Man. Fun one. We should not be pushing. What was the value empty when you did debug? I wasn't able to see any of that.
No, I had to put something in it because because HTML5 form validation.
Add it to like, make it 20 or something.
I wonder if the enter is not working correctly.
Okay.
Because in the test we're putting the bracket enter.
Oh, and you're thinking the carriage return
I could have
is
this-
ending up in the thing.
Maybe, or maybe enter. I don't have the syntax right, and it is enter. I don't know.
Man. So I should be in.
I guess that is a okay. That's a question. I want to see something.
And it is preventing me from submitting until I have more than 15 characters in there. If you
Oh.
run it.
like local, like if you're in the browser.
Yeah.
Okay. It's still doing it. Track metric of null. So what's the track metric is something else, right? Telemetry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which it also, that shouldn't be firing.
Hey.
Let's go no for that.
Look at that.
What'd you get?
Console log works. We're not firing the method,
There, yeah.
but I'm saying this
Yeah.
user event thing isn't doing what we think it's doing.
You're not doing what I think we're doing.
Otherwise, we would have seen the console log.
Okay. So we're seeing your console log, we're not seeing the other one.
Right. So it's not kicking off the function that we think it's kicking off. It is triggering an event, which is probably what is causing the error because it's not an event with anything attached to it.
Okay.
User event.
It's not something silly like oh, why can't no has enter? I can do that. My backspace doesn't work. That's funny,
Don't make errors.
right?
User event.
I should fix my backspace.
We should. Okay. So. Click. Type. Clear. Type. Click. Clear. Type.
There's not another input. No.
Hope not. So we have enter, space, escape, backspace, delete, control, alt. Awesome. Enter only does what we think it does in a text area. what I thought it did. Sorry, I don't. I don't
Well,
know.
You're probably
Insinuating
right
too.
that we were thinking it was doing the same thing.
Well, I put it so on the testing library. They have like the special strings you can put in: enter, space, escape, etc., etc. Because I was looking for a way to obviously trigger the submission, and it will insert a new line character in parentheses text area only. So the crappy part is I don't know another way to. So we've got click, double click, type, upload, clear, select options, deselect options.
Can we
tab.
enter character 13 or something?
Maybe this is where we just fire an event, and that would be, I think it's 13, right?
Should be.
Or fire a key down, or
Yeah, I think key down would be, well, but you don't want on key down. You want to force key down.
yeah.
Or key press or whatever.
Firing events.
Is there a fire event?
You could do a key up, key press, key down.
Yeah, I'd say key press.
So we would say fire event dot key something on the DOM node, and we could even say key enter code enter. So like
Fire event, key down, DOM node, key enter, code enter.
yeah,
Probably at the same.
we are. You want to do the honors? You paste it.
I think you found it first.
Okay. So we're gonna...
Good. Now I can blame you.
Well, you can definitely blame me for the last half hour.
Fire event. This needs to be
I'll
on
have
the
to-
DOM element.
I just have to import it from
Oh, okay.
testing library. And just so Lint's quiet for a minute. Semicolon. Okay. And we're just gonna see if we don't get a failure for that.
Yeah, same junk.
Knew that wasn't gonna work.
Ah, man.
Do key press. Well,
Yeah,
what
it's-
about the search is actually, well, just when you hit enter, it does the default action on the form to submit, right?
Yeah.
But that's a feature of the client, right?
Accurate. Yep.
So do we need to just capture the form and then just dot submit?
Probably. Yeah, but I'm sure we could do that.
'Cause I'm just saying,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's possible that we're chasing something that will never work because
Oh, no,
it's
I agree
something
with
that
you.
the browser is doing, not something that the search box is doing.
Yeah. So let's say.
Wait. Oh.
Oh, what? Go ahead.
No,
go
no,
ahead.
no. It was still running. It finished. It didn't work. Again.
Oh, the char code. I didn't see you doing that. Sorry. So that didn't work either.
You didn't use the UTF-8 char code for carriage return.
I was thinking about using the UTF-9.
You called it search, right? The role.
Yep. I think.
And then you're saying search. Just do submit, right?
Yeah, it should just be a function right on the thing.
That already fail? That was fast.
I don't think it's
No,
run
no.
yet.
Hasn't run yet.
Yeah.
It says it passed. Form
Not
element.
implemented.
Because it's a form element, not a form. Or, well, no. HTML form element. Prototype submit. Huh.
It's not implemented. JS DOM is terrible. You don't have submit? How does it submit then? I've submitted all kinds of forms.
By clicking on buttons or by...
By clicking on buttons, but like how would it, I guess,
well, then fire event submit on search form.
okay.
The lengths we have to go to.
And probably just leave all this alone.
Well, it's. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that was an interesting fail.
Not read property value of undefined. Okay. So that means we need to give it our
Now,
event.
yeah, it still says HTML form element prototype submit. It's still complaining about the same.
Oh, you're seeing that too?
Unless I scrolled up too far.
Yeah, I'm seeing uncaught type error cannot read property value of undefined. And that's because we just did a submit without the event. Or so it would be
Here's one.
target.
Here's a maybe input. Where did the input go?
That's the search box, yeah.
So you're gonna fire submit on the search box instead of on the form.
Maybe.
At this point, I'll try anything.
Good to know. That's even worse. Yay.
Well, and we've got this unhandled promise rejection. That's never good.
You gotta handle those promises.
Yeah, no, this one is just value.
Which one?
The most recent test failure. It's just it's saying submit. It doesn't have cannot read property value of undefined.
Okay, so
The
let's
question
try
is, what is
adding-
undefined?
So on this event, we're gonna pass what the event looks like. Maybe like that. I don't know. Oh, that might be value. It's looking for.
Well, and which one broke?
Terms.
Terms, yes.
Oh, wait. The fire. No. Look at the
That's
error.
on
Fire
search box.
event. The search box didn't fail. The search form failed, or at least it failed on that line.
So that
Yeah, and then get rid of the other stuff.
Leave. Okay. So,
Get rid of the target and all that, and then run it again. It could still be this one failing, but it wasn't showing up on that. Like, it wasn't indicating that line.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
value of undefined.
Oh, look. if e.target.terms.value, value of undefined, undefined is terms. No, it's not. It's not the fire event that's broken.
Well, we have to give it.
The fire event has to
You have to
pass
have
in
the
target
yeah.
of terms.
Right. So the target would be the form.
Or whatever we give it
Well,
for the event.
right, but the event.target.terms.value.length is where it's breaking. So target, it's expecting target to be the form, right? Because the form is what has terms on it, which then has values.
So you're saying
but
instead
it's
of
just
search
a-
box, do the search form?
But it's just it's pulling that from what's passed to it though. It doesn't care.
Right.
Look, we're green. Are we?
Yeah, but
Wait.
we're testing. I guess we're testing the mock. We're not testing like this.
Absolutely.
This object is a mock, not the actual search box.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we took this off and made this the search form, you're saying that's what you're trying to say, right?
No. Fire the submit on the search box. Well, I don't know. Yeah, try